Bitcoin worst case scenario. You have to watch this video before May 1st. Things are heating up, critical close is coming, but we have a secret weapon that will give us the answers we need, and I'm going to unveil it to you in today's video. Welcome if you're new. My name is Steve. On this channel, we do it different. We stand out from the crowd. When they go left, we go right, and we base it all on the facts in the charts. If you like facts, hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into the video. Now, what we've got on our hands right now is a monthly chart. And this critical level of 29K is proving to be very substantial. And it's been substantial since back in 2020, December of 2020, holding it as resistance, January 21, holding it as support through this May 21, June 21, July 21, coming down and holding it as support in May 22, and subsequently holding it as resistance since that point. And here we are today. This is our first candle coming up to that in March, and we had our second candle with this April. Now, we're going to be closing this month in a handful of days, and it's so critical. First and foremost, the formation of this candle we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about this channel that we're in. We're also going to talk about this chart and what it means, as well as this chart and what it means, and then we're going to get to our secret weapon. We're going to go through the facts on each one of these charts, and then we're going to get to our secret weapon, and then I'm going to break down what I think is going to happen, worst case scenario for Bitcoin. First and foremost, this Friday, check your emails. I have a critical email going out to everybody on our email list this Friday. Don't miss it. Also, if you could, unless you hate women, go to our Twitter. We made a really cool video to promote women in crypto. I just ask you, go to our Twitter and retweet it. Crypto Crew U on Twitter. Go to our Twitter and retweet it to help promote women in crypto. Crypto is really cool. There's not enough women in it. Unless you hate women, go there and retweet it. Thank you in advance. Now, monthly chart, you can see we've got a pretty long wick coming up here at the top. With this close, the body is getting thin. This is not good. This is a type of reversal candle. Okay, and we're going to get into that later. It's not a deadly reversal candle, but it's showing some signs of weakness. Now, if we just look at this picture and we say, okay, for the past couple of years, this 29K, most critical level. As I said repeatedly, the folks who are still quite bearish on Bitcoin, they won't be able to say anything if Bitcoin holds 29K as support. They'll literally have no argument for a bear case. But Bitcoin has not held 29K as support. So is this bull run in trouble? What's this worst case scenario that could happen? Obviously, you see 2020, what we talked about, resistance, and then moving into support, and then it's been resistance since. We battled up with the last month coming into heavy resistance, and right now our body of our candle is meeting heavy resistance. Now, if Bitcoin is able to get above here and hold 29K above here as support, the candle is still going to be messy. It won't be a critical close. We'll get to a smaller time frame and what could happen in a moment, but I just want to illustrate on this large time frame, this is not a friendly candle. This is not Bitcoin showing strength heading into the end of the month. This is Bitcoin showing weakness. At the same time, we are about to have a MACD cross on the monthly. Now, the facts in this chart, we're on the weekly chart. Bitcoin US dollar index, we've got this critical level of about 28.6K. Now, on the weekly, it's going to look a little bit different than it did on the monthly. Monthly was super clean, 29K. We're looking at 28.6, 28.7 here, and we have not held this level, right? We came up week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. We spent 1 month as resistance at critical resistance at precisely this level with a bunch of indecision candles, and then we went bullish, but we couldn't hold it as support. And then we went bearish, and now we're holding it as resistance. We have not closed this candle, I mind you. So we're not technically holding it as resistance at this moment, but we're not technically holding it as support, and we haven't held it as support, right? I guess when you get really technical, we are still resistance, right? Because we've been resistance, we couldn't hold support, we're still resistance, but I want to make it abundantly clear this candle has not closed yet. So it could be another indecision candle. More to come on that in a moment. But here we are, and we're struggling. We're struggling to hold some support on this level. Keep in mind, I'm going to get to what I believe is going to happen at the end of this video, as well as our secret weapon and what that secret weapon is saying. But we've got to state the facts the way that they are. What we've seen down here at the ADX and DI at the bottom of your screen, when red is on top, prices go down. When green is on top, prices go up. It's very, very simple. What I love about this is that Bitcoin made a high in the ADX and DI back in January of earlier this year, January 23rd. And we created a higher high here in March 13th. This is good news for the ADX and DI. It's green. Green is on top. We did not cross down as red. We had a moment of clarity on March 6th where we almost had to cross down. We did not. Green is still on top. Prices will still remain as momentum towards the upside. Now, when we get to our next chart, this is where things get relatively interesting, right? Here we have Steve's Fibma. This is our custom indicator. But when you look at it with these cycles, they're very beautiful, right? We have our market cycle top labeled as 1. We have our first bottom labeled as 2. We have our second bottom labeled as 3. When we're inside of this bottom channel here, it's a phenomenal time to buy, especially when you're at 0.2 or 0.3. This was our pivot 1 back here in 2017, 2018. This was our bottom 1. This was our bottom 2. Shorter time in this bottom channel, but still, as soon as you're at level 2 or level 3, it's an incredible time to buy. This was our level 1 rejection from this green line. We didn't make it up to the red line. Red line was last cycle, and above the red line was the cycle before. So we went from topping out above the red line to topping out at the red line to topping out at the green line. One would think we might top out at this orange line with this next cycle. We'll talk about what the price is for that orange line right now. So if Bitcoin were to get above here, were to be able to hold this blue line as support, were to be able to hold this white line as support, and potentially top out at this orange line, which is roughly 88K. Now, again, this is just taking the cycles for the past few, above the red line, green line, if it's orange line. Now, we made a video of where this might be. Keep in mind, this orange line could go down over the coming months, and it could go back up with the pending second phase of the bull run. This is just a rough guess at the moment, looking at the prior 2 cycles and the facts we have in front of us. This is not me pulling something out of thin air. This is literally using all the facts we have at our fingertips right in front of us, right? Now, what we see here is that we had our bottom 1, we had our bottom 2, this perfect purple line, just as we did in the prior cycle and just as we did in the cycle prior to even that back here in 2015. This is an incredible, clean, powerful chart. When you look at first bottom, second bottom, purple line, first bottom, second bottom, purple line, first bottom, second bottom, purple line. Everything happens on this purple line, but where we're being met with some resistance is this blue line. Now, we stated earlier, we could have some turmoil. We're having trouble with 29K here. We're having trouble with the short term, smaller time frame, weekly candles at 28.6. We're showing some signs of weakness also with this chart. Look at this rejection from this blue line. The blue line is at roughly just a little bit over 31K. Look at that long wick here. So we're seeing some resistance from this 31K. Keep in mind, this has not closed yet. This is a monthly chart that we are viewing. We have not closed this monthly candle, which is why this monthly close is so important. But what did we do in prior cycles? We did hold some resistance from this blue line on multiple occasions, right? It took us quite a while to get above this blue line. You talk about how long did we hold as resistance from this blue line? It was about 273 days down here at the bottom. It was short-lived here. How long have we been holding as resistance so far with this blue line that we have in front of us is so far 300 days. So we're right on schedule for our prior cycle, the fractal patterns that we've been comparing. We're right on schedule. Should we be holding resistance? We've done it in the past. But what comes next is a breakthrough and then a hold as support, and then we stayed at this level for quite some time. What could happen, because our cycles got a little bit mixed up, is what we did in this fractal pattern was we held support just on this blue line. I wouldn't be surprised if we hold some resistance just under this blue line for an extended period of time. It could be multiple months holding as resistance. It would not be a popular thing to say at the moment, but this could very well be the case that Bitcoin has some multiple months of resistance at this blue line. Now, luckily for us, we have a secret weapon. We understand, okay, there could be some turmoil. We understand this monthly close is going to be super, super important. We understand that we cannot regain this level at the moment. But where are we in the cycle? What is realistic for Bitcoin's worst case scenario? How bad could this get? Luckily, we have a secret weapon. I'm going to unveil that in a moment of what this is telling us. But if we look at the first chart, what I believe to be true, based on all the charts I study, is Bitcoin has entered phase one of the bull. Now, phase one of the bull is not always a pretty phase. It's not always a phase that goes parabolic. Case in point, phase one of the bull happens when this is the Traders Dynamic Index. When we have in the Traders Dynamic Index, it's kind of like the Bollinger Bands, where most of the price action happens inside of these Bollinger Bands, the top blue channel here and the bottom blue channel. When the red line gets above here, that's our parabolic top. Case in point, look at the facts right in front of us. This was our parabolic top. As soon as this red line got above the blue line, that was our parabolic top heading into market cycle top number one. We're nowhere near that, but this red line, I want you to follow it. When this red line holds support on the green line, that's when we enter phase one of the bull. It happened precisely right here in 2015. Now, when the red line got above the green line here, this was phase one of the bull. It started right here, precisely right here. We covered it right on our channel back in January when Bitcoin got above here. And we said, look, this is an early warning sign that Bitcoin just entered phase one of the bull. We covered it back here in January. Now, when you look at it, Bitcoin doesn't get to a higher price in that leg one until the red line gets above this orange line. You can see Bitcoin struggled in price through this entire period until we held support on the orange line, which wasn't until here. So it was all of these months, 100, 200 days of not getting a higher price, literally holding resistance until the red line got above this orange line. And the same thing happened in 2019, right? We got above here, first leg of the bull, and we did not get a higher price than this one until Bitcoin got higher and held this orange line as support, which wasn't until here. You can see this is when we finally held the orange line as support. It was about 500 days of sideways action in phase one of the bull. So where are we present day? We're in phase one of the bull, and Bitcoin might not get a higher price for a couple hundred days until we get above this orange line, and we will cover it right here on our channel. But we are not close to this orange line. It doesn't look like we're going to be close to this orange line, and until we get above this orange line, that's when prices could reach that next level in that bull cycle. So this leads us to our question. Well, how bad could this get? What's the worst case scenario? One of the worst case scenarios is right here on this chart. We're inside of this price channel. We've been inside here for 1, 2, almost 3 months, where we had the bottom of the price channel at about 19.5. We had the top of the price channel at about 29. I would not be surprised at all if Bitcoin headed down towards the bottom of here, showing some support. Now, that's one area where we can look at. We can look at other areas here, and we'll get a quicker result on the weekly chart. And we can also look at this 31K. We're down here, and we're holding as critical resistance in every chart that I showed you. So right above our head, critical resistance. We don't have the power to get through it at the moment. We're not showing any signs that we have power to get through at the moment. So how bad could it get? One of the scenarios is down here to 19.5. And the worst case scenario would be to come all the way back down to this purple line. We've been at this purple line multiple times. When it's literally the worst case, we come back to this purple line, right? If you thought this was the bottom and then we start rallying up to this blue line, we came all the way back down to the purple. So same here, 2018, we came down to this purple. Most people said we're going a lot lower. Our channel correctly called the bottom. We're very, very blessed and lucky to do so. But again, we rallied up to this blue line and everyone's like, that's it. We're never gonna reach this purple until the next market cycle. Wrong. We crashed all the way back down to this purple. So when we crash and it's the worst of the worst and it couldn't couldn't get any worse is we come back to the purple line. So the worst case scenario for Bitcoin is we crash all the way down to this purple line, which is just under 16K. That would be the worst. Would that mean we're back in a bear? No. The worst is we could crash all the way down to here inside the bull run. Case in point right here. This was not a technical bear market. We rallied all the way up to this white line and we crashed all the way down to this purple line. All right. So would that be completely out of the question? No, we've done it in every worst case scenario for Bitcoin. It would not mean that the bull run is over. It would be relatively healthy because we built an incredible base here, right? Our secret lies right here. At the close of the month, this is where things are going to get really interesting. At the close of the month, which is just around the corner, we have a secret weapon. It's right in the middle of your screen. When Bitcoin closes the month, we want this red line to remain above the green line in the middle of your screen. Case in point, 2015, when our red line remained above the green line, we did not plummet in prices. We just held as resistance. 2019, when our red line did not hold above the green line, we plummeted in prices. So one would say, okay, if this red line remains above the green line, we will hold resistance, but we won't plummet. If this red line plummets past this green line, prices will follow and plummet, and our worst case scenario could potentially play out. That is the worst case scenario. It's not the most likely scenario. If you want the most likely scenario, you can watch all of my other videos. This video is literally all about the worst case scenario. And the worst case scenario is we come down and play with this purple line, which would not end the bull run. We would still be in the bull run, and it would just be another incredible opportunity. The problem is, if Bitcoin started falling in prices, emotionally, you're going to struggle because every news outlet, every human that covers Bitcoin, everybody and their brother is going to say Bitcoin is going to plummet. This is over. The bull run never even started. We're still in a bear. Prices are going to be going down. It's not true. It's not true. Bitcoin has pulled itself out of the bear market. It started the bull run, and it's just fine. That's the worst case scenario. Check your emails on Friday. Huge email coming for you. Make sure you mark your calendars. Go retweet that tweet on Twitter, and I'll see you right back here in the next video. Peace and love to the fellow underdogs.
Do you know that crypto is 80% men and only 20% women?
We want more women to get involved in this crypto revolution, so we need your help to do this. Please share this video.
Share this video so we can help more women get involved in this crypto revolution.
Women of Crypto Crew University.